with the massive increase in legal and illegal immigration, in families coming over and things of this sort, that goodwill, that good nature of the British people has broken.
There is no such thing, by the way, as the British people. This is a phrase used by the likes of Nigel Farage to try to...
What on earth do you mean?
I mean that the British people
the
don't
people
think
of this
as
country.
a lump. We don't think as a lump.
To say the British people don't exist because we don't think as a lump is a very odd take, one that perplexes me. The only things I can deduce from Stadlen's statement is either that he believes that we on the other side of the political spectrum believe that all people of the British Isles share some form of hive mind, that he believes the British people cannot exist as we don't all think the same, or he could genuinely believe that to be a people of sorts entails sharing a hive mind, but I believe the latter to be the least plausible. Now, in a short video format, it would be difficult to explain the transformation of British identity over the centuries, which would be necessary as a full analysis, but I will give an attempt to give an abridged version as a pretext to my rebuttal to his point. Post-war Britain led to a rebuilding of not only the infrastructures of Britain, but the structure of society as a whole. The war unified the peoples of Britain in a way that hasn't been necessary since. The community spirit continued on for decades after. All the way until my childhood in the early 2000s, the spirit was tight-knit and you could walk around your local communities. You would know all the families by name, their lore, how they came to be where they were, and the heritage of the family name. These things were important. The world went through an accelerated transformation in a very short time. The internet became a household commodity, making many form communities online. Identity politics and groupthink became abundant, and the shell of the community spirit was left in the form of nosy neighbour syndrome. All of the curiosity and none of the well-wishing for your fellow villager. Demographic and political changes meant that as the older generation that stood symbolic of a simpler time passed, and the newer generation's selfishness and need to prioritise themselves solely with a hedonistic mindset meant that you could go months without acknowledging your neighbours. This isn't always the case, however it still exists in pockets, but nowhere near the scale that it once was. As things changed so swiftly, yet slowly chipped away at in the beginning, it meant that what it originally meant to be British changed too, in the minds of many. We lived easy lives, which meant being somewhat socially isolated was quite the norm, and your social groups are that of work, hobbies or chosen communities that aligned with a common interest, whatever that may be. Especially in recent years, with the high taxation on breweries and pubs making a social outing to your local pub less appealing, and the casual after-work pint becoming a luxury. What happened was that for a long time we didn't need to be British. Fast forward to now when we are in a very different scenario. The former and current government's actions have awoken something, which lay dormant for quite some time: the English identity. The Welsh and the Irish and the Scots have been unapologetically so throughout their history, but in recent years we were told our country's history, flag and culture are things to be ashamed of, that anything to do with them are political identities and far right. But we are now seeing English consciousness arise, because it has become necessary, meaning that we are able to unify with the common struggles of the kingdom confidently. The communities are coming together en masse to fight against the likes of the migrant hotels, the two-tier judicial system, the out-of-control tax suggestions, the mainstream media's biases, and a plethora of other issues, because they're being forced to do so. We have come to a point where critical consciousness has been activated in the brains of the average John Smiths of the country, not from anything but as a necessity. When we say the British people, we don't mean that we speak for an entire nation that completely agrees with ourselves. Our nations never agreed on everything with each other in the past. The British people we mean when we refer to ourselves are those that have awoken to our current plight and have found a strong sense of identity, something that is similar to that of our ancestors, rather than the new vague definition of the British meaning anyone that says they're British, even if they don't have any allegiance to the cause or nation in the first place. What do they know of Britain who only Britain know? To say the British don't exist for whatever reason is foolish. We the British exist, and shall continue to exist for a long time. We share a genetic makeup of varying levels not seen amongst other collective nations. We share a history that is intertwined and unbroken for thousands of years. We the British are a collective of peoples that, like all nations around the world, committed questionable acts over the globe, but made a lasting and positive impact to many. Our civilization is that of an El Dorado, an Atlantis. There is a reason why people go through endless journeys to get here. But the reason why Great Britain is great is the British. Whilst it may seem to those outside of this awakening that the political lenses that have been pressed firmly against their eyes, that to be proud of a British heritage is to be supremacist in nature, it truly just isn't the case. To love one's heritage is not to hate another's, and our people have become tired of being told that we are not allowed to feel the same pride and warmth that every other culture may. It is not that we hate anyone else by default. We just will not be told that we cannot love ourselves any longer. What do they know of England, who only England knows?